thank all our speakers and moderator for the first session. We will now begin with our second session titled Sharing of Effective Practices led by States to Ensure Safe Migration. This session will be moderated by Ms. Manika Jain, Additional Secretary, Overseas Indian Affairs 2 Division of the Ministry of External Affairs. Ms. Manika Jain is a 1993 Indian Foreign Service officer. She is currently the Additional Secretary of the Overseas Indian Affairs 2 Division of External Affairs. Ms. Jain has served in various Indian missions abroad and also served as the Director of ECWA and the Head of Division at the Foreign Service Institute. I welcome ma'am on the dais. The speakers for this session are Ms. Rani Kumudini, Special Chief Secretary, Labour Employment Training and Factories, Telangana. I welcome you, ma'am, on the stage. We have with us Dr. Sandeep Singh Kaura, Advisor to the Chief Minister of Punjab. I welcome sir on stage. We have with us Shri Ajit Kulasri, General Manager of Norca Roads, Additional Secretary of the Government of Kerala. I welcome you, sir, on the stage. Joining through the virtual mode, we have Dr. Arushi Ajay Malik, Chairman and Managing Director, Rajasthan Skill and Livelihoods Development, and Secretary, Skill Employment and Entrepreneurship, Government of Rajasthan. We also have with us in the virtual mode, Dr. Raj Shekhar, Commissioner of Kanpur and Labour Commissioner, Department of Labour, Uttar Pradesh. In this session, we also have Shri S. Kovinthan, Passport Officer, Regional Passport Office, Chennai. I welcome you, sir, on the stage. And lastly, in this session, we have Ms. Tavishi Behal Pandey, Passport Officer, Regional Passport Office, and POE for both Patna and Jharkhand. I welcome all the speakers on stage and give the dais to our moderator, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, we come to the second session today, and before I introduce my panelists, I'll just give you a little bit of brief background. Right now I'm handling or overseeing the diaspora, issues. And diaspora, as I would say, is, as it has been said by the chair in the inaugural address, consists of 32 million. And that 32 million, I would say that hasn't happened just like that. There has been a whole history of migration. So migration for India is not new. It is very, very old, from the time of indentured labor, or even before, which was very minuscule, but we had a lot of migration at the time of the colonial rule, where Indians went as indentured labor, and then they form a large diaspora across board, which have risen to the pinnacle heights of political power as well as economic power. And of course, it consists of their children. But from there onwards, so on and so forth, we've had economic migration, we've had spurts of migration and also overgoing migration. Coming to the present state or whatever, yes, we have about 32 million people living abroad. All of them, either they migrated or their ancestors migrated from India. And we are continuing with the migration, of course, largely for economic reasons, as has been said. But that, of course, economic reasons, I would say, as the whole topic or the vision behind it is, international vision is, there are certain objectives. We have largely to see, as I feel, the objective. One is that we have to, though there is a limited human trafficking from India, but still there is, we have to eradicate that in the larger, 23 objectives. Many objectives I find is related to somehow when we call orderly, timely and safe migration, which means there should not be any trafficking or forced migration, or even I would say lured migration, where, people are induced to migrate by unscrupulous agents. I would also bring to your attention that there might not be human trafficking per se from India, in the sense Indians might not be, but India is also a conduit or transit route for human migration, for human trafficking. from neighboring countries, you know. So that, of course, I think so our enforcement agencies have to look at it. But when we talk about migration, I find that the important chain, you know, from international to national is the states, you know, where, you know, migration, from where migration is taking place, and states are a major stakeholders in that. And for that, not only that they have to integrate their policies to the larger international vision or the national vision, but also they have to see what is the requirement of that particular state or that particular diaspora who wants to go abroad. So skill mapping and regular migration are two important things. How do we do regular migration? You see where are the skill requirements, what are the skill requirements, where there are markets, and how the states help them, or the state agencies and national agencies help them to fulfill that goal and have an orderly migration. Of course, there are many states who are doing very exemplary work. We have few of them represented on the dais. And before saying, you know, before I take this forward, I would like to hear their views, what they are doing, you know, and what are their, policies and practices and implementation, and what are the takeaways for us or for other states to emulate from them. So I would want to hear them. And first and foremost on our, panel is Ms. Rani Kumudini, a Special Chief Secretary, Labor Employment Training and Factories, Telangana. To give you a bit of brief background, Ms. Kumudini is an IAS officer of 1988 batch and of Telangana cadre. And she is a graduate and postgraduate in economics and has a dynamic 34 years of service, where she has worked under various capacities, especially in divisions of planning, program implementation, so on and so forth. And of course, she's worked with ILO abroad. And now I would like to give the basically stage, or rather podium, to her. Thank you. Do you want me to speak? No, please, I think so. I would like, the session to be, okay, I should have said some rules, though we do have some time, but still I would, request panelists to limit their, presentations in between 8 to max 10 minutes, so that there is some, time left for some discussions and Q&As. And please be very comfortable and even kind of informal, not very strictly, I think so. I don't want a very strict formal session. So please, I think this whole thing is to share views and learn from each other. So madam, please, sure, the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah. Can I have a slideshow? You want me to do it myself? Yeah. Sure. Next I will say, yeah. Thank you so much, Marinka ji, and good afternoon to everybody. First of all, I would like to thank the ministry and also the IOM for having given us an opportunity to share our policies and also the practices that we do in Telangana state. So, next please. Yeah, you can just slide down, I think. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. So we go to the prior one. Yeah? The before one? That's right. Thank you so much. So this is the introduction one. And just to give you an introduction of my state, that is the state of Telangana. And this is one of the states where we have a maximum number of migration, both within and outside the state also. That is international migration we find all over the country like the other states also, but more particularly we have the migrant workers who are below the 10th class or who are totally uneducated. They go mainly to the Middle East countries. So I have just given that in the introduction. But they doesn't matter. Yeah, the pandemic situation has thrown several challenges to us, both within and also how to actually handle the situation that are arising for the migrant workers who are in different countries. But I would like to stress and also make it a point to tell all of you all the basic policy of Telangana is that the migration is an essential feature of development. All migrant workers are part of development, those who come from outside the state and those of us who are also going outside the state and also to the outside the country. So once when we see migration as a part of development, naturally there is an inclusion in itself in all the policies. So in my presentation also, I will do both the domestic and also the international migration and what kind of measures we have taken. Next. So there is one question which was asked to us, what are the priority areas in the migration governance? So the basic feature will be to take necessary steps for safe in and out migration, and also we need a tracking mechanism who are going outside the state and the country. And specifically with respect to overseas worker strategy, providing critical help such as information, immigration clearance, then providing insurance protection, and then information that connects them to the embassy, and also if they're outside, how they connect back to their family. Then enrolling the returning migrant workers, setting up of a help desk at the airports, and also creating a database of the travel agencies. So I also head the labor department, which gives the licenses and the shops and establishment to these travel agencies. So that becomes an essential part to us. And we share this database with the police and also the skill development agencies. Next, please. What were the challenges that we had faced? Like elsewhere, we had a lot of issues during the lockdown, mainly because there was total shutdown of economic activity and people were wanting to come back from all over the country, outside the country. So those were the challenges that we were facing, especially with respect to migrant workers, because they are temporary, they are illiterate, and most of them also had lost their livelihood. So then there was the emotional part of it. So we had to really welcome them with a human touch, not so much in terms of what we did and what we did not do, but even if one person also, if we had taken back with empathy, with sort of making them inclusive of what is happening all over the society, I think that helped a lot in Telangana. And though there was a lot of debate on why the numbers are less or more during COVID, but one important thing is that whoever was there, we try to take care of them with respect to dry ration, full ration, canteens, the temporary shelters, etc., and try to make and comfort them during the period. Next. The issues in the migration during pandemic were also more pronounced because of the illegal migration that takes place even before COVID, and maybe now that we have opened up the ports, it will again be an issue, but all of you all know it. I'm just flagging the issue of the illegal migration and why the problem became a little bit more intense when we have to take them back. Next. So they were mostly in the informal sector. They were devoid of any social security or legal protection. And legal protection also because we don't have any specific laws for migrants. So I also flagged that issue over here. And secondly, the migration cuts across various ministries. There are a lot of ministries who also own up migration, thankfully so. So when it cuts across, then convergence, consultation, bringing the stakeholders together, all the coordination issues also become an important issue. Next. What initiatives we took against this background? The first one is the domestic one, who were coming back. We had a unified command system. We had the Chief Minister leading us. We had a state level coordination committee. At the district level, we had committees headed by the district administration, but it was unified from top to bottom. And within that unified administration, we had a survey. We built a database. We made sure that some of the enforcement measures are in place. We hold stakeholder meetings with the employers, with also the trade unions, and made sure that the informal sector, the unregistered, the informal workers had proper shelters that were driven by the district administration. Next. These are some of the photos that you can see. If you share my presentation, you can see what we did. Next. These are the institutional mechanism I was talking about. Next. Now, what is the institutional mechanism for international one? Because that is more interested in this forum. So I just made a little bit more focus for the slides on this one. We have a separate manpower company agency, which we call as TOMCOM. So this TOMCOM is actually a nodal agency for all international migration, especially of the workers who are illiterate and who are from the informal sector also. This company has got a license from Government of India, and its main objective is to facilitate safe and legal migration. Next, please. It has various objectives. Major thing is to conduct skill training. As you know, that is the most important thing for a safe migration. It helps workers to actually find a better job, a good employer if they are if they are full of skills. To familiarize them with the oversized work condition, to forecast the job market demands, we also have a lot of collaborations overseas, thanks to the Ministry of External Affairs. Next. So these are some of the countries which we were placing before COVID, and now that we have again opened up, I think we were again starting the registration work. Next. These are some of the skilled workers that we have placed, the categories of them that we have placed overseas. Next. How do we collaborate? That was one of the main issue that was asked to us. How do you do the collaboration with the stakeholders? One of the first important thing, and that too with the recruiting agencies. This will be the pre-departure orientation training that the ministry has entrusted us with, and TOMCOM is the main nodal agency which conducts PDOT, and we provide orientation. Hyderabad, Karimnagar and Nizamabad, those are our districts. As on the 1st May, about 2,632 candidates were trained, given PDOT during the current year. Next. That is after COVID. These are some of the photos on PDOT, and then awareness generation on safe and legal migration, various photographs. You can see, since a lot of ladies go, and especially to the Middle East, we take particular care. And in the TOMCOM, of course, I am also the part of TOMCOM, but our general manager is also a lady, and I have a lot of lady officers manning the TOMCOM. That makes it very easy for people to approach, just to give you a gender emphasis there. Next. Then these are the other ones. In our TOMCOM, our regional passport officer, protector, then the airport authority, the police, all of us are on the board of the directors, just to give you all information. And my RPO is also still sitting here. We almost meet every 2 to 3 months, if not more often, and they're always there. And the protector also is very, very active in Telangana state. So these trainings and these kind of standees, these kind of awareness programs, all the material that comes up only because of your ministry. So I should place on record my deep appreciation. Having an agency is one thing, but getting support from all over is another thing. So thank you so much, Monica. The next. Of course, information dissemination and guidance counseling also. Lot of workshops we hold with collaborations with different stakeholders. Next. These are some of the photographs. Now, next. Now, this is one of the important thing I was telling you, the Pravasi help desk, which we deliberated during the COVID and after the COVID in all our board meetings also. And our airport authority, then our immigration desk, the RPO's office, and most of all the protector's office, they have all now come together. And now, after the immigration desk, we are now going to have this migrant help desk, which we will be operationalizing it, I think, next week. 11th we have scheduled, and try and see how this is going to work. We only waited because we wanted the international travel to be open, and we hope that this will be a successful initiative that comes, and we plan to do it more rigorously with a lot of features once we go through the initial pilot period. Next. So the objectives of the help desk, especially the categories of housemaids, laborers, construction workers, that is those 10th class place, ECNR stamp required workers are the focus in this help desk primarily, because students and those who go, the highly professional ones don't need this kind of help desk. So we have put it to the extent of ECNR stamped categories. Next. Then we also have roped in one another stakeholder, that is the Center for Good Governance, who helped us with a software which we will be putting it up in the desk also, and we will be connecting it to the TOMCOM website also, and we'll see how this is going to work. It has several features, but the most important one, next please, is a grievance redressal module that we have incorporated. We thought which is an important one for the purpose for which the help desk is going to come up. The next one is there's a distress management. If they are across outside the country, how we are going to manage the distress. We had a lot of discussions before we set up the help desk. So we'll see how this is going to work. Next. And how the registration is done, these modules and all, just for your information. Next. Registration. Login, if some of them are well versed, a lot of them who go overseas are quite okay with the computer thing. So we thought we'll give them a mobile app once they register here. And through the mobile app also they can be in touch with us. Next. This is the last section. I'm sorry if I'm going overboard with my time. How is the collaboration with the various agencies? Now I've said about a lot of initiatives that we have done a survey, that we have some workplace collaborations with the employers, and we are going to have help centers. We had a helpline that was opened by our Union Labour Ministry, which we were operating during the COVID period, which we want to continue. And above all, incorporating all this, we also want to have worker facilitation centers in every district of Telangana. So when we talk about what can be the cooperation, so the first point I'm saying is there should be an institutional mechanism. Once the institutional mechanism is there, then the stakeholder meeting will happen on a continuous basis. Like I said, TOMCOM's board of directors has the protector, the RPO, the police, everybody comes together and we discuss so many issues there. So if there is an institutional mechanism which allows for stakeholder participation, that's where it will be very useful. And the second one is there should be some way in which strict action is taken, because legal is, of course, legal action can be taken, but we don't have any specific law for that. We need to find a way of taking a strict action against those who are registered, say they send illegal migrants or they have some problem overseas. Then how do we actually support legally? This is one question. Then how do we do the grievance redressal when they don't have a telephone, when they don't have any kind of communication? Then how are we going to actually redress it? These are the issues that we would like to discuss in the manpower agency also. Next, the Worker Facilitation Center is one of the institutional mechanism which we are thinking in Telangana. We have one state resource center already in the Department of Labor, which we want to connect it with the TOMCOM also. And under the state resource center, we now want to have worker facilitation centers all across the districts, so that action plan is underway. And what will be the main job of the worker facilitation centers? I have given it there. Next, the help desk, as I said, one at the airport, but the worker facilitation centers will be effectively the help desk also. They are resource centers, so they will have different objectives, including the one, acting as a help desk also. The telephone helpline is already there. It is no longer active, which we thought we will again activate them and make use of these telephone helplines. Next. Then collaboration with civil society organizations. In these worker facilitation centers, if they are actively collaborating with civil society organizations, there are several ways in which they can help us, like in the registration also, in the running of the welfare measures under the worker facilitations. Several benefits will flow to them, like, ration, one nation, one ration card, or education in the camps, etc. All those things are well known to all of you all. And then skill development. Now under Skill India program, again, fortunately in Telangana, skill development is part of the labor department. So it becomes very easy for us to actually bring together the skill development agencies and impart training, also through TOMCOM and the other agencies who are registered with Skill India program. Then financial inclusion, opening the bank accounts, helping them to liaise with the employers, or sending the remittances, whether outside, from outside or within the states itself. Then one important thing is accident insurance coverage. Just registering them for accident group insurance coverage will also be a very big help for the workers. Next. So this is my last slide. In the end, what I would like to say, I gave it in a nutshell, what Telangana wants to do. Having accepted them as a part of the development, these are the objectives of our policy. Whatever measures we have taken, they all come from our objectives of the policy. Now, we did not enunciate it yet as a migration policy, because we came to know that the Labour Department Ministry, Government of India is also coming up with a migration policy. So we didn't want any kind of overlap, etc. So we are just waiting. However, as I already said, we have done lot of measures and we are continuing to do so, but they broadly fall under these enabling objectives that we would want to follow as our migration policy. So thank you so much for giving me this time, and once again I should thank the Ministry and also the IIM for giving us an opportunity to share our experiences. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Kumudni, for giving us such a detailed presentation. And yes, you rightly said that every state would be having, I think, so this challenge about education of the migrant worker and the challenges which spring from that, and how to manage that, and also how to also take care of, or rather reduce illegal migration, and if it happens, how to take care of that. Structural institution, as you said rightly, is very important in terms of getting all stakeholders together and then address the issue of our migration, and also to kind of implement the migration policy in that regard. Thank you so much. Now I come to my okay, we'll have question and answer session, but maybe it would be best after all the presentations are done, then we'll kind of go for question and answer. Next I invite Dr. Sandeep Singh Kaura. He's advisor to the Chief Minister of Punjab. He's a professional with 22 years of experience in the field of skill development and technical education. He has obtained an MBA from University of Oxford and was a doctoral fellow at ISB Hyderabad. So now I would invite Dr. Kaira to share his experience in the state, please.
There's PPT also. So thank you very much, and first of all, Madam Manika Jain, delegates on the dais, the members of the dais, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, a very warm good afternoon to one and all present here. I am Dr. Sandeep Kaura and representing Government of Punjab today. This topic today is really very core to my heart. I'll not show you the full presentation, but I have a couple of slides which can give you fair idea what are we doing as part of the state of Punjab. And since you all know, state of Punjab is known for migration, and you could see Punjabi diaspora everywhere in the world. And now if you look at the challenge which we are facing, we have gone in depth, because if you look at the Foreign Bureau, we were the first state to set up Foreign Bureau way back in 1966. We had all the systems and processes in place. But what we found that actually the on ground, if we see the result as far as migration is concerned, there is a set of people migrating from the state, and they have been migrating right from many years. Earlier Punjab is, I think, those who are aware, we have three parts of Punjab. One is called Majha, which is touching the border of the Pakistan, and we call it as, there are rivers. This is on the left side of the river. One, the area which is between the rivers called Doaba, and on the other side is called Malwa. And Doaba was known for migration. When you could go to any household there and check that at least one person would have been there, to any other country. And the moment you ask anybody outside India, and you would find many people from the Doaba region. But if you see now, today, the trend is that all the areas, and why they were going from Doaba? Because due to the overflowing of the rivers, their crops were damaged and they were not able to sustain. So they used to go abroad, for their livelihood. But now the trend has changed. If we look at, I would like to show you one slide, I think. Just go next. The third slide. Next, yeah, keep it here. So if you look at here, this is the data for 2018. So there is a map of Punjab connecting with Canada, because Canada is a preferred destination for, or sought after destination for Punjabis. 150,000 students went out of Punjab, and if you look at the kind of remittance moved out of Punjab was about 9.1 billion. That was a kind of 9.7 billion funds moved out of Punjab on account of a fee paid by those students, 150,000 people, students going abroad, and 95% to Canada. The 5% are to UK or New Zealand or other part of the state. The other slide shows that 12 billion is the inward remittance also. That is also a positive side of it, that we have got the funds back. But the focus here was that these 150,000, those who are moving, there is an equal number going illegally also, because there was a mention, there is a less illegal migration, but if we go to the ground, the illegal migration is there. And what is the reason? Because this forum should also understand the reason, and then we can find out the way forward. The reason, if you look at 150,000 students paying a fee of about 18 lakh per annum, then 30 lakh on account of boarding lodging, right? And that comes, if you multiply, and that is about 9.7 billion. But these are not from very affluent families. They are from poor families. They are selling off their land, their household, and they want to go to Canada. So they are not from the rich families. Now, who are going illegally? They are the one who are not able to go through a legal mode, but still they have a dream that they want to go abroad. And they cross borders through Mexico or other side, and they want to reach Canada or United States. So they are those who are dropouts, who are plus 5th class, 7th class, who cannot take admission in the Canadian colleges by even selling off their land. And that's a kind of quantum, 150,000 moving out of the state. And the per student or per candidate fee for illegal migration is much higher. It's about 35 lakh. They pay to an agent to cross the border. And we don't know, families don't know whether they have reached that country or not. Some of them perish. You would have seen Malta boat tragedy. 250 young students, they were drowned. They said they were drowned due to the, there was a boat tragedy, but it was intentional by the agents. Then there was a Panama boat tragedy. We could see people, crossing the river. So this is a kind of a problem which we are facing. And when we went to the ground, we said how to resolve this issue. Students want to go abroad. Whatever I say that I have best opportunities in Punjab, we can give you jobs here, they are moving. So what we said, instead of just giving them gyan, we said, please go abroad, but go through a legal route, no illegal route. And the agents who were involved, we have 70 agents who are RAs under MEA, operating out of Punjab. We have 5,000 agents who are registered under Punjab Act of Prevention of Illegal Migration and Human Trafficking. And we have 15,000 who are unscrupulous. We could find it out, all of them. And now we said how to control this. Now, RAs say that we are genuine. We are approved by MEA. Our agents say, oh, we are genuine because we are approved by Government of Punjab. And the one who are, and students are confused. And the one who is illegal, he is quoting, I am from MEA and I am from the Government of Punjab. There is no proper format into it. So what we have decided that we will publish a list of the agents that look, these are the agents who are legal. And that too in consultation with foreign country. The more important aspect is 5,000 agents who are approved by my government, they are not recognized by the Canadian government. They said they are illegal. They say only a candidate can get a file processed through RCIC, Regulated Canadian Immigration Consultants. They don't recognize our agents. So we had a rapport where we had a dialogue with Canadian government that let's join hand, let's set up kind of a model where you recognize our agents, we recognize yours. We don't recognize RCICI. That is another point. when they want to operate in Punjab, we say you are illegal. So just imagine RA is operating out of Punjab, RCICI is operating out of Punjab, our own agents operating out of Punjab, and unscrupulous agents. So how a candidate would come to know? Even our officers were not aware that who is legal, who is illegal. So then we decided to have a one particular list published to control this aspect. So what is more important is the skilling ecosystem. We have to do manpower planning. Those who are dropout, they also have a dream to go abroad. Those who are poor from humble background, they also want to go abroad. How they can go abroad at a very less cost. That was our thought process. Just go next. So this is the data. Yeah, just keep it here. So our thought process was around this model. This one slide I want to highlight here. Next, just go next. Next slide, yeah. The migration model should be such that the cost of migration should be less. We should not have a huge cost. There should be a proper mechanism to it to reduce the lead time. The time consumption taking, for going legally also to abroad, there is a time consuming process to maximize the yield and to reduce the risk and to minimize the illegal migration. That was our thought process where we worked around it, that let us have a model around it. How can we achieve these all objectives? And the thought process around was a Punjab migration model. Just go next. Yeah, just next. Now, if you look at Canada, just a glance over here, how people move to Canada. I mean, this is a decision tree we have shown. There is a legal way, there is an illegal way. As I said, they cross the border. Legal through study, through high-skilled worker category, or through trade workers. Now, trade workers in Canada are their need. But if you look at 150,000 went in 2018, and 300,000 who are expected to go in 2022, not a 1% is in trade category, which is in demand in Canada. What we are sending, they don't need it. They are just accepting them because they are getting fee, just to support their economy. But when my students complete their degree in Canada, they get work permit, but they may not get the work. They are again, they are harassed there because they are not getting jobs. Jobs are there in the trade category where my students are not going because the universities are not allowing them to get admission in these categories. And this is a category like for plumber, for technician, for healthcare workers. And that's where we said we will now have a dialogue with the Canadian government.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but may I request now panelists to kind of be a little...
I will just, this is my last slide. That's why I said I'll take just 2 to 3 slides only. Just go next.
No, your presentation is very interesting, but
I'll just focus on the model only. Just go next, just one. Yeah, this is my Punjab overseas migration model. If you look at what we say, that let there be a G2G kind of a partnership. We are very, we are also getting support from MEA and ICM, but we said we will also have our own process. So we have tied up with the government of Alberta, province of Alberta with Canada, province of Ontario we are about to sign, and province of British Columbia we are about to sign. G2G partnership, wherein they will give us their credible agencies to come to Punjab, train people as per their requirement. What are kind of jobs opportunities there? So they will train in Punjab. We have signed up with UK High Commission also. British is also UK is also our focus area. So the government of the foreign country will give us agencies. Those agencies will set up infrastructure in Punjab. They will also bring their own foreign faculty and overseas employment. What is our job? We'll give them basic infrastructure. We'll give them a fee as per their model. We say we will not pay fee in INR. You charge fee as per your own currency. We are happy to pay. But what we want is a job should be there. There should be a backward integration with the jobs. And that's how this model, Punjab Overseas Migration Model. We have done the pilot in the area of healthcare. We have done 2 roundtables, involved students, their agencies, their high commissions, and even MEA was also there. And from there, we have got a gist of it that we would have a kind of a model which is going to set the precedent for legal migration of those people who are needed in the country of destination. We don't want to send any unwanted people there. So with that focus, just go next. This is, so our focus is on G2G partnership, employment assurance, high probability of visa approval, because government to governments are involved. Visa was the only problem we were facing, so high commissions are doing pre-visa compliance before a student training process is started in a country, so that their chances of visa approval can be high. Reduce cost of training and more employment opportunities. That's how we are bringing this kind of a model, which will set the kind of a benchmark. Healthcare we have started. Typically a healthcare, a nurse would pay 66 lakh to go to Canada. With our model, the cost has reduced to 8%. It's going to be around not more than 6, maybe 7 lakh. And they'll get the same facility, UK based. It would have taken 24 months to reach UK through CBT1, CBT2 examination. In our model, it will take 6 months, and the cost would also be very less and with the high yield. That's a focus area with which we have started that model, and our thought process is that we should together focus on those areas. What are the problem area? Why youth is going illegally? That can only be stopped if we give them a legal route. Easy route, less cost, high yield, then only they'll do it, else we won't be able to stop the illegal migration. With these words, thank you very much to the all delegate members and the audience here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kaura. Yes, you were very, very right that, Punjab has been at the forefront of migration, and yes, you have a huge problem of illegal migration, and it has to be somehow give them an alternate route. I personally have many instances to share with on the problem which Punjab faces, as from the time when I was you can say a new recruit, you can say, in the services or whatever, in my first posting in Lisbon from there, and I have got horror stories to talk about, migrants from Punjab. Till the time I was, even my last assignment were in Australia, where I was Consul General, but I want to share, on a lighter side, an anecdote, an Australian policy maker over there. He was talking very passionately about, we were talking about immigration and how much money Australia is earning from Indian students coming over there, and it's a great market for them and all. But then he said, he moaned and bemoaned. He said, but to a Punjabi you give a crack and he'll drive through a train through that crack. So that's what so that is what and yes, you have with Canada huge this thing, but yes, now I find in Australia too the lot many migrants from Punjab going both legally, illegally. One came as a cricket team, officially invited, and all of them disappeared in Australia, so they had that. So, you are really, so you have to go through legal means. That is what Punjab is. You also have other issue about, we are not really kind of talking, but when you're talking about, we have to slightly, focus on gender issue, which, madam had said or whatever. Yes, we have very vulnerable section, which is the women, who migrate for workforce, and for otherwise from Punjab, lot many go as wives, and then there are other, stories when we have to take care of a diaspora. We have to take care of people who go as dependents as well as who go for work, outside. So that is another story, not for this forum, but maybe post this discussion we can have a bit of informal, discussion on that. That's a huge problem where, women, domestic violence and other things with the migration we are facing, on this migration policy. We have to somehow take care of that issue also, who go or who get left behind. Many migrants come back, promise, especially in Punjab, promise lot many things or whatever. They get married second time or third time or whatever, dupe the women and then go abroad again. So that's a whole lot of other issue with migration, Anyway, I think so since we've already eaten into the time of maybe my other presenters, I would request again to kindly keep it short so that people can ask questions and you can elaborate on on that. Now may I request Shri Ajit Kolasari, GM Norca Roots, he's Additional Secretary, Government of Kerala, and he has 5 years experience in Norca, and he has been doing great work. In fact, I would say Kerala, because there is a lot of migration from Kerala, and especially in the Middle East. So Kerala does have very robust institutional systems, to kind of take care of their migrant issues. And also, let's hear what they have to say about, what they're doing.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, Manika Jain, madam, and distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to thank ICM and the Ministry of External Affairs for inviting Norca Roots to this platform and allowing us to share the unparalleled model of Norca in migration governance and diaspora management. I will go through my slides as quickly as I can to cover all the projects of Norca. So, the state of Kerala is the first state in India to form a special department for its diaspora. In 1996, the government of Kerala formed the Department of Norca. Norca is Non-Resident Keralites Affairs Department to take care of its large diaspora and to spearhead its diaspora welfare and management. It's a single window agency take care of the welfare and well-being of our diaspora. Currently, 18 major schemes. Norca is running 18 major schemes, and the government contribution to Norca is 129.50 crores for the current financial year. See, within the span of 25 years, there are 5 different institutions functioning under the Department of Norca. The first is in 2002, Norca Roots. In 2009, Non-Resident Keralites Welfare Board, it's an autonomous board. In 2016, Non-Resident Keralites Commission is a quasi-judicial commission. 2017, a novel experiment, Loka Kerala Sabha. And 2019, Overseas Keralites Investment Holding Company. See in brief, Roots is the field agency, main implementation arm of the Department of Norca, spearheading the diaspora supportive projects. And in the welfare board, it's take care of the returning migrant by launching pension schemes. And NRA Commission, as I mentioned, it's a quasi-judicial commission headed by a retired High Court judge handling the complaints and grievances and to recommend government remedial measures. And the Loka Kerala Sabha is a common platform of NRKs across the globe for their welfare and to utilize their expertise for the development of the state of Kerala. And the Overseas Keralites Holding Investment and Holding Company is a holding company to channelize NRK investment for the infrastructure development of the state of Kerala. Let us look in detail of the activities of Norca, the main roots, the main implementation arm. It's a field agency of the Department of Norca having 20 years of excellence, pan-India presence, and leading Government of India approved recruitment agency governed by a board of directors, headed by our Honorable Chief Minister, bureaucrats, and the diaspora representatives. See, our objective, ensure safe, legal, ethical, and orderly movement of the skilled workforce from the state of Kerala, welfare and well-being of the NRKs, non-resident Kerala's, and we cover all cycles of migration. We have projects for before migration, we have take care of our migrant, and we have also take care of our returning population. See, we are giving much more importance to our returning population because the migrant population in Kerala is higher than compared to other states in India. With this reason, reverse migration is also high in Kerala. The government of Kerala is taking much importance to the rehabilitation and reintegration of our returnee community. The 75% of the allocation of NORCA is going for the rehab projects itself. See, the main rehab project, I'll go quickly. This is an NGPRE, a NORCA department project for returned migrants, started in 2013 Saudi Nithakat time. It's an economic reintegration model, and is a flagship economic reintegration model with the supports for screening, training, credit support, bank linkage, and hand-holding. Loans to MSME with fabulous capital and interest incentives. And the beneficiary benefit from more than 6,000 bank branches. All the financial, most of the financial institutions, all the nationalized banks, all the scheduled banks in Kerala, even private bank, and also the cooperative banks are associating and collaborating with the government of Kerala for this rehab model. Just look, Pravasi Bhadrada, this is a new rehab project we conceived and developed during the COVID-19 period, when the COVID-19 infused the influx of people, when large number of people returned to Kerala. We developed this new scheme, and this is also an economic reintegration model, and within the year we supported 4,000 enterprises under this project. Under this project there are 3 different sub-projects. One is Pravasi Bhadrada Pearl. This is a nano project exclusively for the returned blue-collared employees, and implemented through the Kudumbasri mission, is a renowned poverty alleviation and women empowerment unit of government of Kerala. And Pravasi Bhadrada Micro, we supported micro project with fabulous capital and interest subvention. Pravasi Bhadrada Mega, we supported small scale industries up to 2 crore through this project. See, Santwana is a flagship distress relief project of government of Kerala for returnee group. And annually we support 5,000 returnee family. Death compensation is available, medical assistance available, marriage assistance available, disability assistance available. And financial assistance during COVID-19. On one-time ex gratia payment of rupees 5,000 to 1.3 lakh migrant who was stuck in Kerala during the COVID-19 period itself. And we conceived a new scheme, Pravasi Tunnel scheme, and one-time financial assistance to unmarried daughters of expats and returnees who died due to COVID-19, and financial assistance also did. So let us look, the schemes ensure safe, orderly, ethical and regular migration. We have a job portal and a overseas recruitment project. We are one among the approved recruitment agencies under the Ministry of External Affairs. We do G2G engagement and G2P, government to private engagement. Currently, our G2G partners, Germany, we are the first state in Kerala in associating with the German Federal Employment Agency. Currently, the German delegation of German Federal Employment Agencies at Thiruvananthapuram is undergoing interviews for nurses to Germany. And we are associating with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, and also we are a partner state in SSW program of specified skilled workers program to Japan. And certificate attestation, and this is a supportive program for the prospective immigrant. We are running the largest certificate and authentication centers in India, handling 50,000 plus certificate annually. And we are the accredited agent of all 6 GCC countries in India. And skill upgradation and reintegration. We are supporting our young Keralites workforce to meet the challenges of the international job market by upskilling them. Now we are working on the niche area like information communication technology area. We are providing training in artificial intelligence, robotics, virtual reality, like ICT courses we are focusing. We are focusing on the nursing excellence courses we are running for supporting them to clear the licensing examination of the Middle East, and language training is another area where currently we are focusing. We are imparting German language, Japanese, French, and English through Norca platform. Annually, we support 2,000 prospective immigrants from Kerala to upskill them. And we are offering 75% of the course fee. And the pre-departure orientation, since its inception, Norca started its own pre-departure orientation program. We are the forerunner in PDOPs. And nowadays, we are offering sector-specific PDOPs for nurses and domestic service workers. Both are vulnerable sectors. And new initiative for market research. Norca is committed to find new markets, new job markets. We are conducting overseas employers conferences and fetching new job markets for identifying emerging job markets in overseas job market, and also to identify emerging job skills. Support for migrants at destination country. We have a number of schemes for the migrants at the destination country itself. The major scheme is Norca ID card. We are offering, this is a social security scheme where we are offering ID card for our migrant and also for our students who are studying in international universities across the countries. And this ID card covers an insurance coverage. Current subscription is more than 5 lakh. And Pravasi Raksha insurance policy, this is also for the expats, and this is a critical care insurance policy offered by Norca Roots, and for critical illness and insurance coverage up to 1 lakh. Norca Global Contact Center. This is a 24/7 call center facility operated by Norca, and this platform provides information dissemination, distress call management, and there's a provision for complaint lodging, provides international toll-free number, and also SMS live chat facility is also available. And Norca Business Facilitation, we support the business initiatives of our expats. Norca Business Facilitation will facilitate small, medium, and large NRK business investment in Kerala. And Loka Kerala Sabha, I already mentioned, it is a common, in 2017 we developed Loka Kerala Sabha. It's a common democratic platform of non-resident Keralites both inside and outside India. A platform for non-resident Keralites to discuss matters related to migration and enhance interaction with the homeland. And the LKS is a permanent body, and the 1/3 of nominee will retire, like our upper house of parliament, and are replaced by newly nominated members once in every 2 years. Biannual sessions are there. And the LKS constitution is that all elected members of the Kerala Legislative Assembly and also the member is representing the parliament from Kerala, and also the selected members of our diaspora from across the world, across the countries. And other schemes of Norca is Pravasi Legal Aid Cell. We are providing legal consultants, free legal advice in destination countries, and or filing of case. We support filing of cases, legal representation in destination country, mainly in GCC. We have 10 legal consultants in destination places. Emergency repatriation, we do emergency repatriation in close collaboration with the Ministry of External Affairs. Recently also in the Ukraine crisis, we repatriated around 3,500 plus students safely from Ukraine. And emergency ambulance service, we operate 24/7 free ambulance services from all international airports of Kerala. And this service is 100% free service. Now we extended the service to the neighboring states in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. In Coimbatore Airport, our service is available. In Mangalore Airport, our service is available. And emergency directed scholarship, we take care of the children of NRKs and also returnees by giving scholarships. Schemes for Pravasi Welfare Board, I mentioned that this is exclusively for returnee group. 2 pension schemes are available for them. These are contributory pension schemes, Pravasi Dividend Scheme and Pravasi Pension Scheme. Both are for the returnee community. See, collaboration with various stakeholders. So, one of the stakeholders is the diaspora. For the diaspora involvement, Loka Kerala Sabha is a diaspora engagement activity. collaboration with the recognized Malayali Association in the destination country for awareness creation, repatriation, and support of migrants in distress. Representation, we ensured proper representation of diaspora in all NORCA institutions. And skilling, we associate with private partners. In overseas employment, we associate with private partners. In other actors, financial support of the cooperative movement of Kerala is very, very important in reintegrating and running rehab projects in Kerala. Association with quasi-governmental bodies like Kudumbasri Mission for implementing schemes for the blue-collar workers is very, very important. Consultation with academia and international organizations like ILO, ICMPD, these are all very, very important. Support of the bank is very crucial. I already mentioned that all the banks are, all the nationalized banks, scheduled banks are associating with us through more than 6,000 branches. So in each village, you can see a branch selling a NORCA rehab product. And challenges in framing inclusive policy. So challenges, the lack of data on migrant returnee is a challenge for NORCA. The failure to address complaint need legal help in overseas countries is also a challenge. Difficulties to address reintegration in large scale is also a challenge for us. Poor access to migrant when they are in other destination country is also a difficulty what we are facing. And lack of coordination with the stakeholders in policy making and program implementation is also we facing difficulty. Lesson we learned. Need of sustainable reintegration programs. NORCA Roots programs are not only merely one-time assistance. Through constant support, constant hand-holding, monitoring, we ensure sustainable reintegration. We take care of the needs of the migrants in all economic stratas. Fruitful diaspora engagement through inclusive platform like Loka Kerala Sabha. Coordination with diaspora actors and organizations and associations is very crucial in diaspora support and diaspora management. Minimizing the cost of migration, information dissemination, skilling, bilateral agreement, and coordination with stakeholders and identification of new markets are key in ensuring safe, legal, and ethical migration. And online data gathering could address lack of data. We have successfully conducted we run a COVID Jagrada portal where we received more than 17 lakh registration. And also NORCA ID card portal, more than 6 lakh registration. We have received more than 6 lakh registration. And road ahead. This is my last slide, and these are the areas where currently we are focusing and working to expand the activities of NORCA Roots by deploying more skilled workforce to develop sustainable reintegration model with the support of the cooperative movement in Kerala to prepare migrants for return, reintegration, preparedness. Because most of the 90% of our migrants are in 6 GCC countries. This is a type of reversible migration. So the preparedness for migrants to reintegration preparedness is very, very essential. Identification of new labor market where we are currently working. Towards safe, regular, and orderly migration, initiatives to minimize the cost of migration where we are currently working. To expand the scope of diaspora engagement, that is an area currently we are working, and to develop better coordination with other states and other stakeholders, that is an area where we are focusing. With this, end of my presentation. Thank you ICM and thank you MEA for giving this platform for presenting the NORCA story before you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your very wholesome, I would say, strategy as well as, completely across the board, thinking and policy and implementation on the migration, from your state. Of course, Kerala earns, Kerala has in terms of percentage, I believe you have perhaps the highest migration or whatever, or maybe kind of just following Punjab, but then remittances, I think the economy of Kerala really largely kind of depends on remittances, and so you've done backward linkages in terms of getting those remittance or using that or an investment for the development of the state,
Yes.
which is very good. Of course, you do talk about migration and reverse migration and think through all that. And so you have rehab projects, skilling, and very focused, you can say, attention to the requirements of the state and your people who go abroad. Thank you for all that, and of course your efforts during COVID-19 and post-COVID-19, which are going ahead. We wish you all the best for that. And now we come to our next, panelist, Dr. Arushi Ajay Malik, the Chairman and Managing Director of Rajasthan Skill and Livelihoods Development and Secretary, Skill Employment and Entrepreneurship, Government of Rajasthan. Dr. Arushi is an IAS officer of 2005 batch, and she is a medico by qualification. So I think so she's joining us virtually, so may I kind of request you kindly to connect us to Dr. Arushi, please. Dr. Arushi, can you hear us? No, she is muted. To next one, please. I think so. By the time they have some issue. It looks like that. So now our next panelist is Dr. Raj Shekhar, Commissioner, Kanpur. So he's got 17 years of career, which is, of course, which he started, I think so, in 2004 as Joint Magistrate of Faizabad. He's by profession or by academic qualification, he's a veterinary doctor. He's done many other portfolios, in his journey, and now, I would request him to take us through what Uttar Pradesh is doing, because Uttar Pradesh is also picking up in migration. I see, we see many issues from people migrating from UP. Hello. Dr. Shekhar, can you unmute yourself, please? Hello, can you hear us? Is I think so. Yeah. Are we having problems?
I have now the.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, please.
Yeah, sorry for the delay. To begin with, I must thank Ministry and also the ICM for organizing this national level conference. And especially, we are thankful to Surbhi ma'am and all the panelists. Okay, so we have a brief presentation from Uttar Pradesh. So mainly, it's based on what all the actions and the activities and the welfare schemes we took during the pandemic COVID to handle the large influx of the migrant laborers from various states to the Uttar Pradesh. Please. Just to brief, the 28.5% of the national population comes under the internal migration part scheme. So the major lead sources are like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Orissa, Uttarakhand, and Tamil Nadu. But the key destination points where these laborers migrate during peak times of the year, that is Delhi, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Haryana, Punjab, and the Karnataka. Mostly when we analyze the nature of the jobs and their profiles, so most of them are employed in the construction activities, the domestic works, the textile, the bricklanes and the transportation, mines, quarries and the agriculture subsectors in the districts and the states of the destination. Next. If we see, ma'am, the overall the data what we have acquired from the relief commissioner and also the transport department and various other departments of the Uttar Pradesh government about the number of migrant laborers. It's like on the relief commissioner portal there are 38.32 lakh migrant laborers are registered as of now, and out of which during the COVID pandemic there was large influx from 6 to 7 states of India, and they are coming through various modes, like some of them are coming through the trains, through buses, the private vehicles. So we had various arrangements to receive them and to ensure that they safely reach to their destination districts and then to their respective homes. So 15.25 lakh migrants were taken care in the shelter homes, and another 9.32 lakhs were taken care in the transit hostels. So during that period, during the COVID lockdown, where during this migrant crisis, so 15.12 lakh migrant families were provided with the financial assistance at the rate of 1,000 rupees per family from the COVID care fund. So the total amount what we spent on this head is around 151 crore. So similarly, 174 crore were spent for providing them the cooked meal and also for operating the community kitchens at the various district and the tehsil levels. And to ensure their livelihood, the state government of Uttar Pradesh also ensured supply of the ration kits for 15 days of utilization. And also we distributed these kits to 18.30 lakh migrant families. And again, to add to that one, 7 days free ration was also distributed in addition to the above to 4.77 families, those who come from the weaker sections. The financial assistance of these, wherever we find there were wage losses, so where they were of the weaker sections, we provided 15.7 lakh daily workers with the financial assistance to compensate their wage losses. And other than that, 184 crore was spent in the public distribution system during this period. Next. The Honorable Supreme Court also, one of its judgment, appreciated the steps taken by the UP government and the special efforts put in by the UP government to handle the migrant crisis. We registered almost 37.8 for migrant laborers who came to UP from various states of India. Out of that, 20.5 lakh were skilled migrants. And we did the skill mapping under 94 categories. That was one of the major tasks which we undertook during that period, and all the departments. So there were almost 12 departments which were involved in skill mapping of these migrant laborers. And we could map almost 20.5 lakh migrant laborers. Out of that one, we provided almost 10.44 lakh migrant laborers were given employment in various sectors throughout UP during this period. Next. So looking into the big issue of the migrant laborers and to manage their affairs in a very systematic and also result-oriented manner, the Uttar Pradesh government established this UP Kamgar or Shramik Seva Yojan Evam Rozgar Commission under the chairmanship of Honorable Chief Minister, and the IIDC, that Industrial Development Commissioner, is the secretary to this high-level commission. And also we we brought out this Seva Mitra app also to facilitate the registration of the migrant laborers and also to analyze their skill and the skill upgradation required. Next. So during this migrant crisis, the whole of India was witnessing the major pressure was on the state of Uttar Pradesh. So we had almost during that 4 to 5 months, we had almost 2,124 special trains coming to UP at various destinations, and they are carrying the migrant laborers from 6 to 7 states of India. Other than that, around 33.5 lakh migrants were ferried to their native place by the UPSRTC buses. Almost 8,000 UPSRTC buses did almost 80,000 trips to carry out these migrant laborers, and we ensured that they reach safely to their homes. Next. And these are the some of the special schemes which were the Labour Department undertook during that period, like giving financial assistance to 17.90 lakh building and other construction workers to the tune of 1,000 rupees in the first phase. We provided this particular assistance also to 23.05 lakhs BOC workers in the second phase. And also around 42.59 lakhs workers were given this financial assistance during the third phase in the 3 months. Total 1,432 crore were spent throughout this DBT mode, and they were transferred to the accounts of these beneficiaries. Take next. These were some of the, you can say, suggestions, or we can say the points to discuss in coming days. A comprehensive act for all the migrant workers, including the intra-district and inter-state migrations. We need to have a comprehensive act for this, and the state government is working on it, and soon we'll have discussion at the national level also. The second one is inter-district and interstate coordination committees should be formulated at the state and the national level to jointly plan the institutional arrangements between the administrative jurisdiction of the sending and the receiving the migrant laborers in and out of the district and the states. To build the capacity of the PRIs to maintain the database of the migrant workers. This is one of the crucial points because every the village, every block and every tehsil in the district must have this database of the migrant laborers so that we can effectively handle their affairs. Next, formation of the migrant labor cells in every state and in most of the department which are concerned directly connected to the migrant affairs. Next. A tracking of the tracking database may be established, and UP has started this particular work. And these are the few suggestions. I think most of the states are working on these suggestions, and we are confident that the ministry will take up these issues, and hopefully in coming days and the coming years we'll have a better setup to handle the affairs of the migrant laborers. Next. Next. Thank you. At the end, with this quote, like we can't deter people to fleeing for their lives. They will come. The choice is how well we manage their affairs. That is the key. That is it's a mandatory key. People will migrate to various places for their livelihood. But it's up to us how effectively we handle their affairs. How easy we make their you can say the migration comfortable and easy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Shekhar, for sort of very crisp and presentation. And all, of course, Uttar Pradesh has largely issue of interstate migration in large numbers, and you are not the only state. I think so all states were represented here. They do have interstate migration also, but also they have inter-country migration, largely. Yes, of course, most of the states have been right now, so your voice is echoing. we have been, I think so, a world across, I would say that we've been grappling with right now is this pandemic returnees or migration during the pandemic time, returnees of our people, returnees because of the post-pandemic or pandemic and post-pandemic issues, and then rehabilitation of them, whether they want to go again or they want to get rehabilitated within their own home states. So this is a large issue, and every one of I think so our states have been sharing how they've been doing that or whatever. I'm sure that in the forthcoming meeting or whatever, when we are talking about those so-called 23 objectives of global compact for safe, orderly and regular migration, but COVID will be, I think so, and the issues which have arisen because of COVID or any other, or even, secondly, I think so, war or any other emergency would also be center stage, during that deliberation. So I'm sure, I think so, ICM and others would be taking, we'll be taking note of that, and how, meaning though when it was started, those 23 objectives might not be talking so much about the emergencies, but this will be another set, which will be talked about it, and your inputs would be very, very valuable for that. And I'm sorry to say that Dr. Arushi is having some issues or whatever the state is having, so she will not be able to join us. So now I move to, we are left with two panelists. Now I move to the next one, Shri S. Govindhan. He's passport officer in RPO Chennai. Govindhan is a fellow service colleague from 2009 batch, and of course, I think so. He's introduced in a program called Chat with Your RPO, and I'm sure you're going to talk about that and other, other initiatives which you've taken. Thank you. I give the floor to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, panelists, and good afternoon, the guests. Yes. Hello. Yeah. So I have two challenges before me right now. One is that what I should speak in this forum, because it's full of about immigrants, immigrant-related issues. So I had 2 rounds of panel with Dr. Surabhi before coming here. That why should I should not be in this panel? She was like, you should be in the panel. And finally she won that. You give passport only, then people travel. So you are very well relevant to this topic, and you can be there. So that is convinced. And second challenge which I have is that we are closing towards the lunch, and everybody is concerned how many slides I will be having. The good news is that I don't have a presentation for you, so I'll be finishing off my presentation before 5 minutes. So what I thought I can share with you is about how we in passport office manage the grievances of the public. So when I took over, I found that there are various mechanisms by which we receive complaints from public. One, of course, is a telephone call we get. We have a common telephone number. Then we have emails. Then we have Skype. And then we have Twitter. And then we have what you call, which I also want to add some more thing, from my side, what you call WhatsApp. So I thought, WhatsApp is the easiest mode of communication nowadays. Why can't we receive the grievances through WhatsApp? And then we can have what you call a video call with the applicants directly, so that we get to know their grievances well. So we integrated all these mechanisms in one in-house mechanism called the Integrated Public Grievance Mechanism, which was formally inaugurated by the then Secretary CPV during his visit to Chennai. So far we have crossed about 8,000 grievances we have received in that particular cell in various mechanisms. What we do is that we compile everything on a daily basis. We send it to different wings of the passport office, to identify if it's related to a migrant labor issue, like a policy case or a duplicate passport or multiple passport. We identify the grievances, or they are waiting for a PCC and all. Then from different wings, we get the input to the integrated public grievances thing. And it's also a mechanism by which, as a RPO, I can directly interact with public on every Tuesday. So if any of my colleagues in the grievances mechanism are not functioning, the person who is facing the complaint will come directly. I went to room number 5. This officer was there, so that officer also will be sitting next to me in the grievances meeting. So that helps me to find out the grievances, and we came across such grievances where migrant laborers who went abroad. Basically, there are 3 kinds of grievances I have found. Is that one, they want their ECR passport to get converted to ECNR passport. So they need a better guidance about that, which we have been doing. What are the criteria? Not necessary that they should have 10th standard qualification, but also if they file income tax returns, they are eligible to get the ECNR passport. So we try to guide them on the migration from ECR to ECNR passport, how easy the procedures are now, and the documentation is very less. Also, we closely work with the POE. Dr. Venkatachalam is sitting in the same office where I am sitting. So if any kind of doubt we have, we refer them to the POE who can guide them in a better way about the recruiting agents and other issues. The second issue what we came across was that immigrant laborers, when they go abroad, their passports are taken away by their employers. And what they do is that they take an emergency certificate from the mission abroad and then they come to India. Sometimes what they do is that they carry their passports also, they get their passports back and they travel with their emergency certificate. So they have two documents with them when they come to India, and they are caught by the immigration. And immigration immediately seizes their passport and emergency certificate, and then they send it to the passport office for the safe custody. But we don't want to keep it with us, so we want to give it back to the immigrant laborers too, because they have to go back to their job in different places. So we try to help them out, because in that process we have to get in touch with our missions abroad to ensure that the emergency certificate which is issued to them is genuine. That is one thing we have to do. We try to expedite that response from our missions abroad. And then we also check that the previous passport which they got was a genuine one, which was issued by the mission. These are the two things we do, and then we try to release their passport. Or we, in case if the, because since they have got the emergency certificate, that passport which they were holding is no longer valid. So we cancel the passport, we guide them to apply again to get a fresh passport, and we try to do it within a week's time. So this is what we mainly do in that grievance mechanism. And the third thing which they do is that the suppression of information about the passport, which we found that basically this is mainly because of lack of knowledge, that when you apply for passport again, we have to mention the previous passports which you are holding. Many of the times the immigrant laborers, they don't mention about that. So which leads to a policy file, what we call in Passport Seva project. Once a policy file is created, they are required to come in person to the regional passport office and submit an explanation. So this is what we have been telling them, please do not suppress any information about your previous passports. Please, write them, clearly when you apply for a fresh passport about your previous passport. This will help us to facilitate the, renewal of your passport at a very faster rate. And many of the migrant laborers and who are in Chennai also, I found them, they were all got into this kind of corona case, what you call not wearing mask and going around during the pandemic time. This has caused an hindrance for them to get what you call a visa abroad, to go abroad to get a visa, and also the PCC and all those things were they were having issues. So we in the RPO Chennai, we took a decision to override those kind of cases for Epidemics Act, because they all apologized to us that we were not aware of the seriousness of the issue. We were roaming around in the pandemic time, but now when we want to go abroad for a job, this is creating an hindrance. So we got a clearance from the local police station, and then we issued passports to those people who want to go abroad. So we want them to get their jobs. So these are some of the initiatives we have taken in Chennai RPO. But now, having come to this forum, and I realize that a lot more we can do in collaboration with other entities who are also part of this endeavor. So thank you so much, Dr. Surabi, for giving me this opportunity to share the limited experience of RPO Chennai with you. This Chat with the RPO program has gained a lot of momentum, because not lot many people are, now it's not necessary that they should scan and send their documents by emails or by speed post. They can just take a snapshot in their mobile and send it to us by WhatsApp. We also respond to them by WhatsApp. So just use of technology for the benefit of people. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Kavintha, for sharing, your challenges at ground level and how you've been tackling them, and it gives insights to, I think, so all others and the policymakers also, say what could be really challenges, at that level. So it's very, very, I think rightly Surabhi has asked you to come and join this panel or whatever. And so we have another young officer from IFS, Ms. Tavishi Behel Pandey. She's in the Regional Passport Office, Patna. She's also POE, and I'll give the floor to Tavishi now.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll keep it short and crisp, as sir has kept. It is just my personal experiences. I've been POE since past 2 years, and for past 6 months I've been RPO also. So I have like an sort of an end-to-end responsibility to take a Bihari immigrant and send him out safely. So I'll just talk about the challenges. First of all, as Rahul sir had mentioned, that there is a lack of awareness amongst the immigrants as well as intending immigrants, and as well as state authorities. The police is unaware of the Immigration Act. Personally, I have gone through the Act, and the Act is very powerful, and which gives us court powers also. POE has court powers, and we have powers of customs for raiding a premises and going and ensuring. So we have a very strong Act, but the thing is that in our system also we are not aware, and definitely state authorities are also not aware that there exists such a powerful act. Probably sir with his police experience can develop an SOP. I had also tried at my level. I had shared an SOP, what I could understand, with the police authorities. But small issues kept on arising, like what would be the jurisdiction? Because an immigrant in Sivan is depositing money to two bank accounts, which is one in Mumbai, one in Odisha, and the visa is being issued from Delhi. So there is a lot of jurisdictional issue while filing a complaint. So using my contacts, I could force police authorities to take action. During my tenure in 2 years, I have filed around 50 FIRs against illegal recruiting agents. And as sir was suggesting the WhatsApp number, because even I felt because of lack of awareness, I have a special WhatsApp number which I keep, because the immigrants were not able to approach us, because I opened this office in 2019 and it was a time of pandemic and everything. So we started addressing queries through this WhatsApp number. The major issue which I faced was the issue of fake visas being given. Some were professional fake visas, which was difficult to be identified, and some were like very frivolous. One case in Motihari, a person had printed 1,000 copies of fake Singapore visa, and he would have easily earned with an investment of 1,000 rupees. His plan was to earn around 1 crore. So I keep on getting these ideas now. So, so the thing is that these fake visas, I know we are trying to integrate with the GCC countries, but they still have a mechanism, because all these countries, especially Saudi, UAE, Kuwait, you can still check their visas online. But for countries like Mauritius, Maldives, and other African countries, and Canada, say for instance, Singapore, Singapore also you can check online the e-visa, but in other countries we don't have such mechanism. So after researching a bit, I realized that 2 years ago we have signed an agreement with Canada because of to ensure safe migration, that they will be checking our visas being issued. So probably rather than just concentrating on the GCC, we need to concentrate especially in the African countries, because I have found around 1,000 fake visas being issued for African countries over a period of 2 years. Absolutely fake, especially to Angola, South African visas, and especially Russia also. If we can have a collaboration with Russia, like out of those 1,000 fake visas, I think around 400 were fake Russian visas. Just to give you an anecdote, there was a group of people who approached me, around 20 people approached me, and they got their Kuwait visa checked. Thanks to our embassy, they confirmed that they are all fake visas. I duly informed to the migrants also. They were quiet for 20 days, and finally I received a call on the WhatsApp number that, ma'am, we are standing at the Delhi International Airport, and the person is not picking up the phone. So I said, I told you that your visas are fake. So they sent their airline ticket also. And you'll be surprised to see that these agents, they issue fake airline tickets also. The PNR number is wrong. So I have caught such cases also. And I said that these tickets are fake. And they said, yes, ma'am, now we of course realize we are now 60 people. So I said that I had told you that these Kuwait visas are fake. Why did you go? So they just use this term. मैम हम सब इकट्ठे बैठे और हमने दिमाग लगाया और हमने सोचा चल के ट्राई करते हैं. So I was like so furious. There were 60 people, and each of them had paid around 75,000. And fake visa was issued, fake medical tests were done, and fake airline tickets were given. So just a piece of paper, like if we take 1 rupee for printing everything, so for 60 people, if we say 180 documents were given to all of them, the profit margin of this business is very high. So basically, so this fake visa, we need to have interaction with all the countries so as to develop a mechanism in the interest. Because what I got to know that we are also reluctant, because that will bring out our the thriving business, because usually the Russian side usually raises it in the consular issues that we are not taking enough steps to curtail this menace, but we need to recognize this and not brush it aside कि नहीं कोई fake visa नहीं है, because that's the biggest problem which I have, especially dealing with Bihar and population from Bihar and Jharkhand. The second issue is, as has been rightly mentioned, that Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, they are the ones for whom maximum number of immigration clearances are granted in a year. Probably Kerala is more sophisticated, so numbers might be more, but immigration clearance wise, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar is there. But the situation I faced was the number of registered recruiting agents was just 8. And out of that, only 1 was active. Once I joined in 2019, and they were, I'm talking about like around 80,000 immigration clearances being given to people from Bihar in a year, which has of course come down during Corona, but still. So those going on tourist and visit visa is a very high number in Bihar. So I took action, as I was saying, that FIR was registered against the agents, and now we have around 42 new recruiting agents applications which are pending, and the current number is around 15 to 16. And we also have the state RA was registered during this tenure, but they are yet to be active. Surbi had asked me to speak about the state initiatives also, so I'll be briefly touching on them. So, sir, I would request that if these 42 recruiting agents applications can be processed at the earliest by the ministry, so it would give an opportunity to the person to actually approach a genuine agency. Currently, people from Bihar and Jharkhand, they don't have that opportunity also. And all of them joke that any person, especially from Siwan and Gopalganj, which are like the districts, if he has a mobile phone, he's a recruiting agent. So it becomes, that is the level of keenness of people to go out because of employment opportunities in this state. And anyhow, Bihar people always, the inter-country and the intra-country migration is the highest. Now, one of the points which unfortunately none of the panelists have mentioned is disseminating proper information regarding medical tests to be conducted before going abroad. Probably ICM can concentrate on that, because that is the point where maximum duping of migrants take place. So they ask them that this is a Gulf, there is a term GUMCA, where is Gulf accredited medical centers. So they tell them that you have to get this medical test done. So just at that point only, they dupe many people, and they charge around, depending upon the country to which they are sending. So the rate is between 5,000 to 15,000 for a simple test, which is CBC, X-ray, and other. So this ICM needs to work on that also, because Bihar doesn't have any GUMCA accredited centers. So unko ya to Lucknow, or they have to go to Kolkata. And before that, going to the actual GUMCA center, these agents tell the immigrants that you have to get yourself checked in some local agents, local medical centers, and which usually they just print out a report and they just give. So before, they just say ki aapka visa is ready, you have to get medical tests. And there also, and after that they close the shop and run away. So even at that level also, and after ministry's intervention, luckily at least GUMCA on the site, they opened Patna as an option. There are number of institutes which have applied. Now we are awaiting team from Saudi, that Riyadh, once they'll come, probably then this initiative can be taken forward, and in Bihar and Jharkhand we'll have some centers at least which are genuine. So again, access to genuine institutions is very important to ensure safe and legal migration. Now I've talked about this. Of course, in the state there is a problem that the state capital doesn't have an international airport also. So Bihar has its own unique challenges which I'm sure none of the other states have. Now, as RPO, now I have a privilege of having a bird's eye view. So one of the things is that we have to recognize that RPO is the first point of dissemination which can be used as first point of dissemination for information regarding safe and legal migration. Probably we can rope in POPSKs also. Now we are entering into a new MOU with Department of Post. So probably the PG division as well as PSP division can include some aspects of basic training in migration of the DOP staff also. Like we train them for PSP system, some basic details which they can disseminate while a person is applying, and they can be like more like a migration resource person at POPSK rather than just doing the passport role. And secondly, regarding, I have a suggestion that PDOT training, rather than waiting for the applicant to go, RPOs have a data of whom we are giving all the ECR passports. So we have that data. So probably the PDOT training can be devised as such that once an ECR passport is being handed over to the applicant, at that time only some sort of maybe we can hand in over a booklet, a small checklist to all the people whom we are issuing ECR passport. So that can be linked between the two offices, which I felt. Probably we can have a PDOT proper training also, or some extra information being given once the ECR passport is being issued. Regarding Bihar government, it has become a state recruiting agent. They have 2-3 initiatives which I have been involved in. I don't know their current status, but they have been in touch with Emirates Driving Training Institute, same model as Punjab was suggesting, that where they'll be training the drivers in India at their Training and Driving Research Institute at Aurangabad. And so they will have the surety that once they go there, they'll have a job. Because currently, especially the drivers, once they go there and they undertake a course of 3 months, it is not guaranteed that they are going to clear that test and have a driving license. So number of drivers who are coming back is really high. So they have this, they are planning this program. I don't know when they'll be able to put it in practice. And especially SSW also, they are in the process of empaneling Japanese training institute so that they can train, because of Bodh Gaya. They have this inherent connect with Japan, and I'm sure I was Under Secretary Myanmar before this, so I know that all these Southeast Asian and Japanese countries, they have a very soft corner for Bihar, and they are ready to invest, and they are really open to Bihar just because of Bodh Gaya. So you can ask them anything and they'll be willing to shell out anything to Bihar, but they don't ask. That's a different thing. So the thing is that what I appreciate, and I always tell the Labor Department in Bihar to follow Norca routes, because I'm really impressed. I have been to their website like multiple number of times, that they need to have this integrated approach, because in Bihar also, like ma'am was saying, the skill development and the Labor Department is the same. So they can have this end-to-end approach, and with them being the state recruiting agency, so they can really do a lot in this. I hope that they are able to move ahead. Now, looking forward, awareness, sir, I've already talked. Now, Qatar visa centers also. So it is just about, again, accessibility to the. Qatar had recently opened, as in 2-3 years back, 7 visa centers in various places, especially in Lucknow also. But if we put the number of applicants going to Qatar, Bihar, if they open a visa center in Patna, so they'll have the catchment area of Northeast and as well as Jharkhand as Bihar. And if we combine, we have the highest number of people who are being granted immigration clearances for working in Qatar. So again, having Bihar in the main frame of things, because my experience being there in the state for past 3 years, that we tend to overlook that what is happening in Patna or Bihar. So having a visa center like Qatar Visa Center or other visa centers in Patna is really going to improve the access of migrants to genuine institutions again. And one more thing was the process in my case, because the number of recruiting agents was very less. the direct immigration cases used to come to me in a huge number. And that was the main reason that I started this WhatsApp number, because my process was not to just grant immigration clearance to a direct immigrant, because the immigrant used to come with a valid visa, a good contract, of course not through e-migrate, but I had to make sure that the foreign employer gets registered first. So it was not just giving direct immigration to the immigrant. I had to be in touch with the FE also to get them registered. And we have a sort of a stringent condition for foreign employers to be registered with the embassy also. And it took a lot of time till the time the visa validity used to expire. So my suggestion is that we need to simplify, because in the current system, the entire onus and burden is on the immigrant. And once we put burden on immigrant, ki you have to do this, you have to do that. So instead of getting the foreign employer being registered, the immigrant will go to an agent and somehow try to manipulate and get immigration clearance through some, they'll say maybe perhaps the same some other company in the same country, but he will go and work for the genuine company. So if everything is genuine, so we need to simplify that process for the immigrant, and the onus, entire regulatory role and onus should be concentrated on the agents working in India. Like we have all sorts of people, travel agencies, technical centers, they are all doubling up as recruiting agents. So we need to little bit focus ourselves on managing and regulating the agents rather than the immigrants, because currently immigrant has to get it if I am a foreign employer and a small time, probably I'm a restaurant owner or I have a small company, then it is very difficult for me to go to the embassy to first get myself registered. Then if I want to call one person, then I'll go to the embassy to get all his document attested and verified. So I will not be that keen. So that if I am not that keen to go again and again to the embassy, and especially if I'm located far away from the embassy, like sir was suggesting that Saudi Arabia is such a big country, and there is supposedly an Indian restaurant and we want a labor, he will not be traveling to Riyadh or Jeddah for one person. So we need to recognize that even that one person has the right, and they have the genuine documents. It is not that they are going. So we should not overlook the genuine people who are carrying genuine documents just because they are small scale. We need to recognize their need and simplify the process accordingly. And and of course, compulsory registration of all immigrants we have discussed, and I am absolutely for it, that we should have compulsory registration so that we have an adequate database. And this is a bit far-fetched idea, but personally, it is my personal opinion that we need to look that whether we actually need this demarcation of immigration check not required and immigration check required passports. Because I think being an RPO, if we have this distinction, we are first forcing, I have seen as RPO that we are first forcing the immigrant to get a fake 10th degree. They do that, they present their fake documents, so they are paying anywhere between 10 to 15,000 to get that fake degree. They don't know anything. It is not solving the purpose because they are not educated, so they can be duped. And even if we are giving them an ECR passport, they will travel on travel and visit visa, which I have seen almost everybody doing that in Bihar, whomsoever we have managed to give ECR passport. And once they go there, they are stuck there, and they ask for more money to get it converted.
Sorry, can you be a little
Ma'am,
shorter?
so we need to really look at that, whether we have to focus on the visa being issued and the profession being mentioned, or just ECR and ECR.